Welcome to the Worst of the Riot podcast for Monday, November 20th. In today's show, we ask the question, what color flag is ordering water on a first date?
We also talk about some of the worst nights of sleep you've ever had, as well as if your car ever catches on fire, there's one thing that'll be able to withstand the blaze.
Yeah. And obviously, myriad other great topics as well. A fantastic show. It's really unbelievable we can put together such a good show on a Monday. On a holiday Monday, at that.
What an exciting week of shows with Thanksgiving on Thursday.
It's hard not to be in a good mood. This is about as good a mood as you'll see me all year long.
Wait till Friday after I'm on a full stomach.
Exactly. Enjoy. We'll catch you next time.
See you guys.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot. Radio U.
Who knew car fire could be such a positive? Could work out so well. I don't know if you saw the TikTok that went viral last week of the woman whose car burned all up, but inside that car was her Stanley mug. And her Stanley mug survived the car fire.
It is pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive. It's amazing. All the interior of the car is melted and destroyed, and her Stanley cup survived. And if the TikTok can be believed, it still has intact ice inside.
No way.
That's unbelievable. That I believed the TikTok initially because the Stanley Cup is like it looks like it's been through a fire because it's all singed and like it's got the soot all over it. But then when I saw the ice, I was like, you really expect me to believe this?
This is a commercial.
Yeah, isn't it? Or at the very least, you just for a few extra bonus points, you just plopped a few cubes in after the fact. Now, her car's clearly burned. It's a real car fire. And it seems that her Stanley tumbler survived the wreckage as well. And so that's it's a testament to the workmanship. That's craftsmanship right there. But the good news of the story is that after this TikTok has gone viral, the president of Stanley itself has responded to this video and offered to not only send her a bunch of additional Stanley Cups, but also a new car as well.
Well, it does add up because, tumblers, the Stanley ones, are made of stainless steel.
Okay.
Which is it doesn't catch on fire.
Right, yeah. Flame retardant.
So in this case, it makes sense that it'd be sitting there. Great ad for Stanley.
Yeah.
And very nice of them to pay for a new car for her.
Yeah. Yeah. Great advertisement for sure. Now, I don't expect to get in very many car fires in the future. So it's not like I need to rush out and buy a Stanley mug to be just in case.
Well, the likelihood of you leaving it in there.
Yeah.
If your car catches on fire, that's going to be the first thing you grab.
Yeah, that's right. That's so important to me.
You wouldn't leave that.
But the blessed assurance of if I ever had this happen to me, knowing that, hey, all the other headaches come as they may, but at least I know I don't have to buy a new Stanley mug.
It'll be in there.
It'll be in there. And my drink will be safe, too. I can have a nice sip of water when it's all said and done. It is impressive. It's nice of them to replace the car. Also makes you wonder, too, why not just make cars out of stainless steel?
Would look sharp.
And a whole lot less fires, I would say. But, hey, that's just me. That's just me spitballing here. But
we'd rather make them out of plastic.
Yeah.
Makes way more sense, right?
Safer if they can catch on fire, in my opinion.
Nobody does it better. The Riot Radio U.
Imagine you're going to college, and instead of living in a dorm somewhere, what if you were living at a senior living community? As in, like, senior citizens.
Seems like an odd mix.
You're going through your college experience at an old folks home. It's exactly what two students at the University of Tulsa have gone ahead and done. Sean Roberts and Chance Jackson have taken up living at a senior living community called Montero. And you know what? I can see why they're doing it, because they get to live there free.
That's a big boost.
That's a big bonus. And I imagine a lot of senior living communities, that means they probably, not only do they get to live there for free, you think their meals are covered there?
They could be.
I mean, if the seniors live there, the meals you would think would be served.
But it seems kind of odd that they can just live there.
Well, I'll tell you why. It's not exact. They don't just get to live there for free. There is a trade-off. So they don't have to pay anything, but they get to live there free of charge in return for putting on concerts and hosting music practices for the seniors.
Oh, they're like a little band.
Yeah.
Like a little two-man band.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they get to educate the seniors, teach them how to, I see a piano going here.
I see a trumpet.
And give these old folks something to occupy their time, something to entertain them. And there's nothing that old folks love more than young people. And so what they love, it's like, oh, the young people. I just love seeing their faces. That's what an old folks home is like, I imagine. I've been to some. That's usually the vibe I get. And so these kids, these Tulsa students, they're helping out the seniors and helping themselves by getting a free place to live. I wish it was that easy for me. I wish I could find a free place to live just by playing the trumpet.
Yeah, I wonder how they got this. Like, who proposed this? Did they come to the senior living center and they were like, hey, do you think we could live here?
Let me see
if we played the trumpet during lunch?
I don't know who reached out to who. I don't know who initiated this. I have to imagine it was the students or somebody affiliated with the school that was like, hey, you know what it probably was? They probably visited there once. It was part of like their classes or whatever. And they,
and they were like, what if we just lived here?
Yeah, that's right.
Wouldn't it be so much easier?
One of the old folks was like, I wish you were around all the time. And then they're like, that gives me an idea. But it does kind of sounds like a plot to a movie or something. Like maybe initially they were unsuspecting. They didn't realize they were getting into living at a senior living community. It's just like, Montero, it's free. All I got to do is play the piano. Sounds like a great deal. And then they realize that they're living with great Aunt Gert.
Mm-hmm.
And hilarity ensues. At first they're uncomfortable, but then they form a bond with the seniors. How do you think you would do if you were living at a senior like your age now, living with seniors?
I don't know what I would do. I don't think that would be the best spot for me.
You don't think so?
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I'd probably just keep it to myself. I'd be pretty quiet.
That's what I thought too. I thought I just probably
It'd probably be really relaxing in there.
I might feel like I'm letting them down a little bit.
Because you're not like exciting.
Because
fun,
I wouldn't entertain them. I wouldn't
be a good fit.
When you're a senior, you're living at this senior living place. They have to organize activities like this, right? Because you don't have a lot going on. You don't leave very much. It's if your family or somebody comes to visit you, that's all you got going pretty much. And so then if I was there, I feel like I'd be expected to entertain, especially being a famous radio personality.
They expect you to go to all the events.
Very funny. Yeah, they'd probably expect me to MC, and I don't know. That's
I would just be in my room watching TV. I'm a pretty content guy.
I'd be doing the same thing they're doing, hoping somebody comes to visit me and pay attention.
This is Radio U's Worst of the Riot.
Robert Pattinson, actor best known for, it says here he's best known as Edward Cullen of the Twilight Saga. I guess that's true.
People love Twilight.
Although
man.
It's been a while. It's been a while since the Twilight movie came out. I think of him, I think of Batman. More recent. But nevertheless, Robert Pattinson paid his dues to become on the way to becoming Batman and Edward Cullen. In a recent interview with Architectural Digest, I'm sure everybody read that, he revealed that for about a 6-month period, he had no furniture except for, if this even counts as furniture, an inflatable boat. And he ate and slept on this inflatable boat for 6 months. That's how down bad he was. The commitment he had, I guess, at first when he was getting into the acting game. He had nothing to show for it but an inflatable boat.
Inflatable boats aren't cheap, you know?
I was thinking that too. But
How was that the one thing that you had?
well, if you're going to spend a lot of money, you spend it on an inflatable boat because it serves so many purposes. Obviously, bed, dining table, evidently, and boat in case you need to boat anywhere.
Like, you think an air mattress is definitely less expensive.
Yeah, but an air mattress is not a life-saving device.
True.
It says right on it.
You can't take it out on the weekends.
No, you can't. It is shocking that he did have an inflatable boat in his apartment. It does lead me to my next question, which is, what is the worst sleep situation you've ever been in? For one night, for an extended period of time? 8772 Radio U, text in. I'm sure somebody right now is probably thinking, when I was next to my ex-husband for 6 months, or I guess however many years. But no, like, really.
For comfortability.
Yeah, like bad hotels, air mattresses, or something else you've slept on, bathtub, I don't know.
I know what mine is. I have a couple different ones.
Okay.
One of them being I slept on the floor of a camper for 3 nights when we were at like a country concert
Okay.
with my friends, and somehow I got the floor. Everybody else was sleeping in the bed. And there was like 7 beds in this camper. It was a big camper.
Uh-huh.
And I found my way to the floor.
How did you wind up on the floor?
I have no idea.
You drew the
I
short
was the last,
straw?
yeah, I was just the last one.
Were you the youngest?
No.
No.
That's the most ridiculous part.
Were you the smallest?
I wasn't the smallest either. I'm pretty mid-sized. I think I was just the most comfortable with sleeping on the floor.
Yeah.
I was gonna make the least big deal about it.
Were you the meekest? Yeah, that's
I
what
was
it
the
is.
nicest.
You were the
I was like, oh, the floor? Yeah, I'll sleep on the.
Uh-huh.
I'll sleep on the floor.
You probably
Doesn't sound
everybody
so
was
bad.
kind of calling places, and all that's left is the floor. You're probably like, I call the floor.
I got it.
Not even upset about it.
Don't even worry about it.
No, this is where I wanted to sleep. Is the floor actually?
You mind if I use your backpack as a pillow? Since you guys are using all the pillows up in the beds.
Oh,
I'm going to
been
use
there.
this flannel as my blanket.
Yeah.
And that's how I slept for 3 nights. And it was terrible.
8772 Radio U. Text in the worst sleep situation you've ever been in for one night or more. Let us know. I'll think of mine coming up next.
Oh, hi there.
This worst of the riot.
Crank that up.
Radio U.
Question is, what is the worst sleep situation you've been in, comfort-wise? The reason we brought this up is Robert Pattinson, well-known actor, recently admitted that he slept on an inflatable boat for about 6 months in a row because that was the only furniture he had available to him. Isaiah said he slept on a camper floor for 3 days. Is that was your answer?
One of my answers, yes.
Jesse says that she slept in the gym with no air conditioning in the middle of the summer, lights that wouldn't turn off, on a slowly deflating air mattress, wearing smelly, sweat-drenched clothes.
That sounds gross.
That sounds disgusting. I was like, was that a natural disaster or something? No, that's because she was in drum corps, apparently, whatever that is. It sounds horrible. Also, text in here from Tina who says sleeping in a tent after it's rained.
A
The
rainy tent is
flooded.
the worst.
Yeah, that sucks, right? Did you did this when you camp? Is that not only would you put up the tent like the way it's meant, but you also would bring like tarps, like actual tarps to cover over the tent as well?
I didn't do that when I've only camped. I can remember one time where me and my dad slept in a tent and we were camping and it poured down rain for a long period of time.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of the people in our group were rained out, but our tent, it held true.
Oh yeah.
We were dry the whole time. I was in disbelief because the tent that we had was like this random tent that was in the garage that we hadn't used in like 20 years.
Yeah.
And we just whipped it out. And everybody else had these like really cool looking tents.
Uh-huh.
And we had like this old tent, but ours was the best one.
It was
because
real.
Didn't let the water in.
A real tortoise in the hare situation.
Yeah, it was.
Sounds like. No, I did a lot of camping as a teenager. We learned to bring the tarps to cover the tent as well. You need, bungee cords, tarps, all that, like rig it all up. But many times, especially because maybe it's because teenagers were setting it up, is that the tarp could protect you, but it also could make a waterfall directly into your window of your tent and make things a whole lot worse than if there was no tarp at all. So you got to be careful with that.
Jacob also texted in. He said during a trip to Disney World, my dad was snoring so badly that I took my blanket and pillow and slept in the bathtub for the next 3 nights. That sounds terrible. Bathtub cannot be comfortable whatsoever.
I hate being next to a snorer. It's tough.
Oh, the worst.
Do you know the worst is when you can hear a snore and they're not even in the same room as you and you can still hear them? You ever been there?
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, that's bad. I know JR has bad issues with this from nights. For me, I was thinking also I've had nights where I've slept in a car, not because I was living out of it, just to be clear. But you sleep in a car, that is not as fun as it sounds. It's really uncomfortable.
Yeah. The only other one I can think of is for a short portion of my life, and I don't know why this was, my brother and I had to share an air mattress that we slept on.
Yeah.
For a long time. I think it was like a whole summer maybe. And I have no idea why we did that, and I was young.
Well, mattresses are expensive. And so sometimes I've had this where I've slept on an air mattress and it's supposed to be a temporary thing. And then it's like, well, maybe this isn't so bad and a mattress is expensive. And so you keep putting it off for a little bit. So maybe that's what your parents are doing.
It was comfy.
Especially because it was 2 of you. Then they'd have to buy 2 mattresses.
Yeah.
Now, what are the odds that both of you would need a new mattress at the same time so badly that you had to sleep on an air mattress? I don't know. So strange circumstances.
Either way, it was comfy. I didn't mind the air mattress.
Air mattresses aren't so bad, actually. Better than an inflatable boat like Robert Pattinson or a bathtub like Jacob. 8772 Radio U, the worst night of sleep you've ever had.
Radio U's Worst of the Riot podcast.
What color of flag would this be if you're out on a first date? The person orders a water.
I don't think there is a flag there.
It's not a color flag for you.
No flag for me on the play.
It's as transparent as the water itself. It doesn't bother you or encourage you either way.
I would say it's pretty normal.
Because I think I think ordering water on a first date could say, or could tell you a lot about the person.
It might be, if anything, I think it's maybe a green flag.
A little slightly green, a slight greenish hue.
Yeah, I wouldn't look too much into it. I think I'd be more thrown by like ordering anything else.
But you know what? Here's the difference is you're a guy. So here's the question, or here's where this stems from. There's a TikTok that's gone around. It's a couple on a date. Now, this is not a first date, but because they're out with one of the other's families. And so the gal is out with her boyfriend. The gal's got her family that came around. They've all got water, and he ordered some kind of pink drink.
Whoa.
Yeah. And
now that's wild.
It's reversed.
That's crazy.
Because he went ahead and bucked the family and ordered an actual drink. And so she came from she says it's a water-only family. You don't order drinks at a restaurant because it's a waste of money.
Yeah.
So that's a wild take on his end. But the reverse is, some people were saying in the comments that water only is code for poor. So if you order a water on your first date, that could be a sign that you don't want to spend a lot of money on the gal. Even though the water's for you, that could be code for you wanting to be a little too frugal.
Hey, I'm frugal.
No bones about it.
Won't even try to hide it.
To a fault.
If I'm frugal for ordering water, you are not going to be happy with the rest of the way it's going to go. That's like the most normal thing I do. Let alone the other discounts, the other corners I'm cutting.
Yeah.
Water is the least of your worries.
Yeah, forget about that. You're going to be checking your phone so you can scan a QR code for some kind of deal.
I have every app.
Kind of discount, yeah.
For every restaurant we go to.
Excuse me, I'd like to, waiter, 15% off, please.
I just recently, as I was sitting here getting ready Hey, the check, I actually signed up for you guys' rewards. So I guess when you first sign up, you get 10% off.
Yeah.
Can you please use that? No, ordering water, not a red flag.
I don't think
I think if you order anything but water when you're with like your significant other's family, that's crazy.
Would the biggest red flag of all be ordering a soda?
Yeah.
Because that shows that you may not be good with money and like you're unhealthy, possibly. A double whammy.
Pop ain't good for you.
Yeah. If you're still single and you're ordering Cokes on dates, that might be why. That could be why. I'm saying it's not a red. I don't think it'd be a red flag, but I think it's a flag, the ordering water, because it signals it, and depending on who you are, is depending on how you interpret it. If you want somebody who's good with money, then maybe ordering the water only is a green flag. But if you're somebody who wants to be, lavish with gifts or just wants a big spender, the water only might be. It's not a red flag, but it's a caution flag. It's a have your antennas up because maybe this person's trying to be a little frugal on you.
Oh, I'll be frugal with you.
Yeah, if it's Isaiah, that's not the only frugal flag you're going to see flying.
Oh, that'll be yet again the least of your
one
worries.
of many.
The other ones will be way more obvious.
One of many on the mast.
If you like that video, there's a ton more. Go check out our past videos and subscribe so you don't miss what we do next.